Join me as I make 5 fun projects that you can do in Procreate. They're perfect if you want to be creative, but you don't have a whole lot of time or patience to create a whole painting or illustration. These quick projects are a great way to pass the time, especially if you want to cut down on scrolling social media or other time wasters. Being creative is always a great idea, so let's go ahead and get started. Here I am in Procreate. I'm just in a random gallery stack, but the first one we're going to do is we're going to do digital doodles on a photo. A fun thing that you can do is you can import a random photo like your coffee, your pet, your desk, yourself, your kid, it doesn't matter, and then just doodle all over it. This is all about just passing the time and low pressure, low effort, just fun stuff that you can do in Procreate. The first thing I'll do is I'll tap on photo. I just have a few photos in an album that I'm going to use, and the first one I'm going to use is this one. This was an outtake from when I was creating my thumbnail for my video called The Truth About the Online Art Community, and I've always thought it was a really funny photo, so I wanted to use it in some capacity, and this is perfect. So now let's just go ahead and doodle on it and just have fun. I'm going to be using my crayon liner from my Kawaii Essentials brush set and drawing kit. You know it's my favorite, so I'm going to use it. And right now I'm just going to use white. So I'm just going to be on the color disc and I'm just going to choose a white. And now this is the fun part. I'm just going to start drawing some fun, cute illustrations. And now I'll add a layer above my image layer. Now I'm just going to add some fun doodles all around my silly face. Okay, I think I've done enough. I could probably keep going. I kind of like where this went. I gave myself a reason for making this face. It's because this little guy on my mural is telling me actually, and is deciding to correct me on something. I've mentioned this in multiple videos, but my kids are always correcting me, and I'm probably making this face a lot at them when they're correcting me all the time. So that's kind of the inspiration behind that little portion of the illustration. You could do this with any picture. It's super fun. And doing it in white just kind of adds to the doodly nature to it. So go ahead and try this one. It's super fun. This next project, we're just going to play in the animation assist. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just moving a shape back and forth can be really satisfying. Creating a wiggle animation is really fun as well. It's a great way to try out animation, and it's really uncomplicated and it's really easy to do. I'm in a blank canvas here. I just chose the screen size because I don't really have a specific project that I want to export this into, so I don't need a specific size. So you can do this at any size canvas that you would like. So we're just going to make a quick doodle of a character and animate them blinking. I still have my crayon liner from my Kawaii Essentials brush set and drawing kit, and I just have black selected. And I'm going to make the simplest of doodle characters. So that is a real doodly, not precise illustration at all. This guy's arm, this arm is way bigger than that arm. Who cares? We're focusing on great illustration right now. We're just having fun illustrating. So let's go ahead so I'm just gonna finish up his face. He's gonna have a smile here. It's a great smile. Now let's go ahead and turn on the animation assist tool. So we'll go to Actions, Canvas, and then turn on Animation Assist. And for this illustration, I want this part of the doodle character to remain stationary. This part doesn't need to change in our animation. We're gonna focus only on the blinking eyes. So to do that, I'm going to tap on the frame here that holds this illustration, and I'm just gonna turn it to background. So that part of my illustration is not gonna change. So now I will add my first frame. I'm just gonna illustrate just a pair of easy eyes. Now I'll add another frame and I'll start to have them blinking. And I'll just continue on illustrating out how these eyes would blink. So now let's go ahead and play that back. And so it's just showing them closing, it's not showing them blinking, so now we have to reverse that. But first I'm going to change my frames per second down to 8, just to kind of slow it down and make it a little less overstimulating. So now what you can do is you can just go to your layer stack and duplicate it and then just reverse it. So go down to the next one and put that on top, and then the next one, put that on top, and then the very last one, and then put that on top. And now we can go back and play that. And you got a loop of a blinking character. It doesn't look that bad. And there's tons more of animations that you can do. And if you want even more ideas of just simple animations, go ahead and check out my video, The Fastest Way to Master Procreate's Animation Assist, and I demonstrate even more simple animations that you can do. So for this next project, we're just gonna make our own digital stickers to use on our iPad, or we can use them in iMessage. You can use them as Discord stickers as well. And a really great way to do that is just using Procreate stamps. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So I have a blank canvas here and I have formatted it to 2048 pixels by 2048 pixels, and it is 300 DPI. That size is great resolution for creating digital stickers. They're just a little bit more crisp and clear looking that way. So let's choose a Procreate stamp to use from my brush library. I have thousands and thousands of Procreate stamps. I sell them on Etsy, so I have tons to choose from. So if you want some Procreate stamps, I will link my Etsy shop in the description box down below, but you can do this with Procreate stamps. You can do this with your own illustration if you want, but Procreate stamps makes it great because you don't have to draw anything. So let's go ahead and choose one of these guys. I'm just going to choose this top one because he's super cute. And to kind of fill the whole space here, but not all the way, setting it to about 45-46% is great, and then just tap in the middle. And then I have a complete line art illustration. And I'm just going to choose from a random color palette here. This is a color palette that I had been using for illustrations I was posting to my Instagram in the month of July. So I'm just going to use that one because it's there. I'm just going to pick some appropriate colors and then drop them into my Tanuki here. And just like that, we've got a whole illustration, color filled and everything. Didn't take long at all. So now let's go ahead and create this into a sticker that we can use in our iMessage app, or we can use it anywhere. We can export it to GoodNotes or Discord, but let's just create it as a sticker for our sticker library in our iPad. So I'm just going to save this as a JPEG and then tap on Save Image, and then I'll go out to my Photos app. So here is my photo in my Photos app. So now we can turn it into a sticker by pressing it and then add sticker, and then it just adds to our sticker library. And you can even add effects to it if you want, but I think he's cute just like that. It kind of took away the color of his foot over there, even though his foot's colored there, but that's okay, I'm fine with that. Alternatively, like in GoodNotes, you can create it as a sticker that you can use like in a planner. So here I am just in a digital planner. This planner is on my Patreon, that if you're a member, you got this one as a member, but I'll go ahead and show you how to create a digital sticker that you can use in a digital planner. So here in the top menu bar, you can tap on the stickers and then tap on this plus sign, and then add photos. And then just in my photos, I will tap on my little Tanuki here and tap on add and create a little album for him. And now he is just a sticker that you can use anywhere on your planner. This next project is just blob morphing. It's basically digital Play-Doh and Procreate kind of. So we create a blob and just a fun color, and then we morph it into like a funny shape, and then we can turn it into a character. So I have this sort of turquoise color chosen. Choose whatever color you want. And I'm going to use the freehand lasso tool to create my blob. And I'm going to use the freehand lasso tool to create my blob. So I have freehand selected, and I'll just tap on color fill, and then I'll just create a blob. Perfect. That looks like a blob if I ever saw one. So now we'll just use the Liquify tool to mold this into some funny shapes. So I'll go to Adjustments and then Liquify, and then we're gonna select Push, and you can set this to whatever size you want. If it's too big, you might push too much at a time, or if it's too small, it might take a long time to morph everything. So 50% is a pretty good amount. So now I'm just gonna morph this as much as I can. So it's crazy how this kind of has turned into like the profile of a girl. I almost feel like I don't need to illustrate anything on her. But what you can do now is you can take this image and illustrate over top of it to create details on it. So I'm just gonna add a new layer, and I'm gonna grab my crayon liner and just start giving some details to it. That's pretty easy. I mean, we've morphed it into sort of profile and added some black line art over top of it, and it creates a kind of cool, kind of minimalist, almost like mid-century modern color blocking illustration, and I'm totally digging this one. The fun part about blob morphing is that you never know what you'll get. Sometimes it's just a weird shape, and sometimes it sparks a whole new character idea or a new way to create art altogether. So does anyone else remember when bokeh overlays were like everything? So we're gonna make that classic effect here in Procreate, but in a way that's more fun, customizable, and you don't even have to spend $1.99 on a photo filter app like it's 2014. And I only just learned that the word bokeh actually comes from a Japanese word that means blur or haze. Photographers started using it to describe that dreamy, out of focus look, like those glowing circles of light in the background. So when we add the bokeh effect in Procreate, we're really just recreating that beautiful soft blur. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna import my image that I want to add that effect to. So I'll tap on photo, and in this little folder that I made, I have this photo of myself. This is baby me, this is baby Haley. I think I'm like 1 year old. I thought this would be a perfect picture to use that on. But first we need to make our bokeh brush. So it's not just adding an overlay over top of this, we can make a bokeh brush that we can use anytime. So I'm just in a random brush library, brush set, and I'm gonna tap on plus. So let's go ahead and set up the different settings for it. I'm gonna set the stroke path to 95%, and then I'm gonna skip down to shape, and then tap on edit, and then import, and then tap on the source library. The source library has a bokeh, a source that is just called bokeh. So we're just gonna use that one. All the work is done for us. Now let's go back into shape and change scatter to 145%, and we can go down to dynamics. I'm gonna set size to max and opacity to max and jitter to max. And then under properties, I'm gonna set the max size, just anything over 700% is great. Just go over 700% and stop wherever. And then we can just rename this bokeh brush and tap on done. And it's right there. You can't even really see a preview of it. I made one down there, and so this is the one we just used. You can't even see the preview of it. That is totally fine. So now with our photo here, I'm gonna add a new layer above it, and I'm gonna set the blending mode to soft light. And we're gonna choose a color, a warm color. And just to set off this blue on my shirt here, I'm just gonna choose this orange. And now with this bokeh brush, I'm just gonna add some various strokes here and there, and you can even increase the size. And if you don't like how it's varied, you can just redo it. And on screen, it's kind of hard to see it. There's like a weird reflection on this photograph. So let's make this so it's a little bit easier to see. So on that same layer with my bokeh spots, I am going to go to adjustments and bloom, and I'm going to turn up the bloom on these spots. And that makes it look even more brilliant. And you can play with this a little bit if you want. You don't want to overdo it, because if you want it to look natural, it's not gonna be overdone. So now let's add even more haziness. So I'm just gonna go back to my photo layer and add another layer above that. On that layer, I'm going to change the blending mode to overlay. We can try soft light again, but I'm gonna try overlay to start. And for this part, I'm gonna go to my airbrushing tab and I'm gonna choose the soft brush. And I'm actually going to decrease the opacity to about 50%. Doesn't have to be precise, 50%, around 50%. Whenever I let go, it always changes, 51%. And then change the size to about 30%. And now I'm just gonna add a little bit more haziness to the edges of the photograph. And we can even add a bloom to this layer. So I'll go to adjustments and bloom and add a bloom to that, and it makes the picture look like it was overexposed in the development process, which is kind of cool, but the photo itself is kind of not matching up. So let's adjust the photo itself as well. So let's go to that photo layer and then go to adjustments and hue and saturation, and I'm going to increase the saturation, and you can decrease the brightness ever so slightly, and that looks super cool, and it looks so cute. Look how cute I am. But that's a great free way to add the bokeh filter to a picture if you ever wanted to use that filter on a photo again. I know it's not that popular anymore, but it's still something you can do, and you can even adjust the opacity like on that airbrush layer just to make it a little bit softer. But that one's fun, I love it. Hopefully these gave you some ideas on how to use the Procreate app in a less serious and just fun and creative way. And if you're looking for an even calmer vibe, I've got another video sharing 5 relaxing things that you can do in Procreate. They're perfect for unwinding and slowing down while still making art. You can check that one out next, and it is right here on the screen.